Thank you very much for kind introduction, and thank you, Patrick, for inviting me here. What a great event it is. In our 5 critical decades of city building debate, I would like to start my presentation with a very simple question. Can the city center be an empty space? Or what does that mean that the center of the city is an empty space? Looking down from above, Ramna area, which is marked red here, willy-nilly stands out in a vast expanded city in a vast growing grey surface as a green oasis at the heart of the capital city. While Dhaka has been growing as a capital for about more than 400 years or much more longer, but Ramna, more or less geographic center of the city, remains empty, or at least green in a context where each of the inches of metropolis green is evaporating. Ramna remains remarkably quiet, vast, natural open space at the center. Cities like Cape Town, Rio, or maybe Vancouver offer examples of where majestic natural elements have guided the urbanization and resulted in empty city centers, where nature is a monumental civic element. Dhaka, however, does not have natural geographic conditions within the center to structure urbanization. While the view from above reveals other vast natural open spaces like Louis Khan's National Assembly Building Complex, military domain, or so on, but Ramna is best reflect to the meaning of public space. It's a place of meeting, place of exchange, and a place of greetings of all kinds. Rereading reveals that the area is a park or a forest due to its high density trees and forms a unique character at the city center. It is in sharp contrast to Dhaka's extremely dense urban morphology. It's an exceptional and extraordinary space. Interestingly, all types of plays find their scene here. The play of daily life between native and post-colonial city. The play of recreation in a city with hardly any recreation facilities, but also more dramatic plays of social manifestations, cultural demonstrations, political rallies, rituals of nation building. The city basically grew from a very small town along the river Buriganga within its spectacular natural settings. During colonial time, the city shifted its axis towards the north inland at the outskirts of the old city. From the presence of East India Company until the British Commonwealth, consecutive restructuring and manipulation of the Northland established it as a unique and layered space. A campus-like environment with new types of recreation facilities, for example, place for horse racing, polo games, accommodations for institutions of different nature. All are embedded in a unifying and picturesque park. During post-colonial time, after 1947, massive urbanization and through-in migration towards Dhaka resulted densification, which nevertheless stretches the city from south to the north. Ramna became center of this metropolitan city. Following independence, the area has become a preeminent representative landscape where competing centers of power are quasi-juxtaposed within a space of few square kilometers. Dhaka's contemporary failure to preserve the open spaces also raises the fundamental questions of sustainability. Is the method of inclusive master planning and static land use planning are sufficient to deal with these contemporary cities' ever-increasing complexities and challenges? Master plan never worked in Dhaka. Is it because master plan is too rigid or outdated for this dynamic, incredibly fast-growing city? Taking into account with all the complexities of the fast-growing Dhaka having its various scales, Master Studio thesis project at University of Leuven was designed at this central space within the framework of the existing research on Dhaka's post-colonial public space. Accumulation of several layers within the fabric was analyzed to find the possible strategic intervention to extend the park area for the growing population. As one of the only public space in the capital, this central space, as we can see, can work in multiple scales within different groups in a very segregated society. It is also accommodates representative space that intertwines 2 major parks in the city and can interplay between landscape and infrastructure to address Dhaka's sustainability challenges. Two strategic interventions mark this central area. One, at the entrance of the park for the city. Two, in between two parks, to bring the people directly inside the park. The first strategic intervention split up the traffic flow in different levels, variation of topography, blur the boundaries, and extend the park area for the city. So, transition from a motorized chaotic node to a node of a landscape pedestrian world. In the second intervention, metro line shifted inside the park area by replacing the existing roads. Instead of getting off to a traffic chaos of the city, the metro line pumped waves of people inside the park. Varying platform creates stages in a spectacular way for varying of plays for a variety of actors. By not providing a complete structure, the missing facilities will mushroom automatically and will create different scenarios in this in-between space. The strategic intervention ensured that every corner of the car-free zone is within the walking or rickshaw distance, which is very popular medium of transportation in Dhaka, and create different atmosphere and multiple possibilities in the park, provide space for informal or spontaneous activities, which is very common in Dhaka. Design research in transcending the limit of Romnau area was framed not as a problem solving per se in such a socio-culturally, politically diverse context like Dhaka. Rather, the analysis and design questions reformulate Romnau as one of the only open public spaces challenges and forms insights, stage scenarios, and spatial intervention by accepting global forces while producing local values. Thank you so much.